Welcome back to the Caribou Data Science channel. I'm going to take a look at a couple of data sets from the website here, Our World in Data. Be sure to check out my shameless plug video a little earlier on the site. But what we're going to look for here is I'm picking a couple of data sites. I'm picking them actually from the health data site. And I'm looking at causes of deaths, which is when people died in 2017. What caused their deaths? How did it cause death change over time? And different between other countries. Says here, cardiovascular disease, these are the leading cause of death globally. The second biggest cause of death is cancer. In this section, you'll see the cause of death for all countries in the world. Causes of death vary significantly between countries. Non-communicable diseases dominate in rich countries, whereas infectious diseases remain high in low countries. The world is making progress against infectious diseases. Fewer people die at a younger age, and almost half of the people who died are 70 years and older. So what you do after you select the topic, you scroll down, okay? Then you click on this, and it'll download the CSV file for you. Now, if you look at this, then I selected a second chart, which is says related charts, share of deaths by cause. Now, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but we'll see what it says, okay? Cancer cause of deaths, charts, lots and lots of charts, okay? Okay, causes of death. Okay, so we got two data sets. And after download the data, the next thing I always want to encourage you to do, well, actually, the first thing I want to encourage you to do before you do anything, uh, before you do any, uh, before you do any new data science project, I want to encourage you to use GitHub to manage all your data science projects with your code and your data. It's a very easy way to keep track of your code or to track your data. So what you do, you select new, create a new data frame, a new data project. You go over here and take a look over here. Go to your project, click on code, and then you can do it. You can download a zip file, or you can also copy the link here. Okay, come over here. Come over here, and now you got your repository of all your data for this project. Okay. So again, I really can't emphasize the importance of that right there. Of course, did I mention you also want the first thing you when you fire up your R session in the morning, the first thing you want to do, and I can't really emphasize this enough, you want to run package update. You want to make sure you have the most recent version of your package. We'll make sure you have the most current version of R and the most current version of R Studio. Okay. So now after that, what you want to do, you come down and you want to look at the data here. And the purpose of this is you want to check and just take a look at the data here. Terrorism. Okay. Now, so you want to look at the fields just to make sure what we got here. Okay. And each column represents a death, and it says all sexes and all ages. Okay. So what we can do here is we can just clean up the column headings. Okay. Road injuries. Okay. I'm not really sure how concerned we are about. Okay, here's what I'm going to do is I'm only going to stick. My only concern at this point is with diseases. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of executions and road injuries. And again, and also terrorists, because terrorists, of course, is really a matter to a certain extent. It depends on how you subscribe, uh, how you uh, it really depends on how you okay. So the reason is any data that you can remove before you pull it into R is going to save you. It's going to save you memory. Okay. It's no use. It's no use bringing in highway deaths if we're not concerned if we're only concerned with diseases. Okay. So next we got here now cirrhosis of the liver. I'm just going to leave this as cirrhosis. The other thing here, but by cleaning up the columns here once again, I'm just going to save some. I'm just going to save some time in the. It's just going to save a little time in R again. Also, anything you can do to your data, any wrangling you can do before you anything you can do to reduce the amount of data you're importing is going to save you memory. Okay. Plus, I mean, we know it's all. Plus, we know it's all ages. We know it's all ages and all sexes. So therefore, we don't need. We know it's all deaths. Okay. Okay. So therefore, all we really need is the name is the name of the disease itself. We don't even need diseases because we know it's all diseases. Intestinal disease, lower respiratory diseases. That would, of course, probably. I'm going to change this to this respiratory. A respiratory may include COVID-19, by the way. Respiratory, meningitis. Okay, all I'm doing, I'm just saving a little time. I mean, we could import the entire names and then go back and say use rename or call name functions to, you know, okay, now it says, and dementia. I'm going to call it Alzheimer's. We have to keep in mind it is also dementia because the two are very closely related. Okay, Parkinson disease. Okay, alcoholism is of course, alcoholism would be closely related to cirrhosis of the liver. Okay, liver disease. Okay, okay. This will include all malaria. I once heard for the price of a $5 mosquito netting, we could $5 piece of mosquito netting, we could virtually eliminate malaria deaths in the world. Now this says maternal disorders. Now what is maternal? I think it means pregnancy related. Okay. Related to mother separated, especially pregnancy. Okay. So this is apparently pregnancy related uh, deaths, neonata. Okay. This would be, hunger and poverty, nutritional. Okay. Diabetes and mellitus. I'm going to call this diabetes. How big a problem is diabetes outside the U.S.? To a certain extent, diabetes can be a lifestyle disease. Okay, obesity, uh, overeating can cause it. So let's just call this one kidney. Conflict and terrorism. I'm not concerned with terrorism at this point. I'm only concerned with diseases, hepatitis. Okay. What the heck is neoplasms? Let's see what this is. Okay. An abnormal growth of tissue in some part of the body, neoplasm, especially characteristic of cancer. So that means this neoplasm could also include cancer. We're not really concerned with, so like I say, I'm only concerned with actual diseases, exposures to forces of nature. Let's not, this is heat exposure, protein energy malnutrition. No, well, I'll leave that in. I'm not quite sure why I won't leave it in there or not. But cardiovascular disease, a big one here in the U.S. Let's call this one cardio. Okay. And of course, those are going to say, well, what about actually? Well, self harm? No, it's not a disease really. It could be a result of disease, let's say mental illness, of course. Interpersonal violence? No, that's not a disease. At least not in my book. So we got this one. Let's take a look at this by causes then. Okay, this is interesting. So age is all. So a percentage of what? A percentage of the total deaths? This appears to be a percentage or something like this. Okay. Although I'm not sure of that. So we'll probably leave that alone for right now. We could, of course, calculate the total deaths for these diseases and then calculate the percentage of the total deaths, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and move both of these down to our data directory. No, that's not what we want. Let's come down here. Okay, now let's take a look here. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. Yes. OYR, DP. Let's see here. Uh, let's try this. GDT. Okay. Let's. So first, let's grab a little data here. Okay, so we can do this. Underscore CSV. By. Okay, so let's come down here. On this up here. DPL ePlar. Let's run this. Holy crap, look at all those things there. You know what? I don't like the way that works. Let's just do a basic. Okay, so let's come over here now. This is the causes. Now we know we got this disease here, okay? Now, let's make sure that year is integer. Okay, good. Now here's the thing. We got all these massive diseases here, okay? We could, for instance, do a total by year. Use your cross function to produce a total for all the numbers for each year. That's probably not a bad place to start. Okay? Okay. So now let's do our first calculation. Seriously. Deaths, group by, right? Group by year. Okay. Now we get to the magic here. Summarize. Okay, good, cross. Basically what you do is you take the first column, which is cirrhosis of the liver. Okay. All right. Cirrhosis. Use this. And we're going to do a total all the way across. That's probably called us one. Now, huh, really? Can that really be right? Am I looking at the right data? Okay. The first problem is I'm looking at the wrong data. What's the other number? Okay. This doesn't look right either. Why am I seeing percents in here? Much better. Okay. Let's do this with country total. What happens if we come up? Okay, so now we got a total okay. So what did I add? I added an NA omit here. Now everything is happy. Okay. Let's do one more total. Let's do a total by country. Okay. Here's a question. What I'm interested in is doing a row total. Let's look up Wrangle here. Now there is, of course, a row sum function. I do believe. Okay. Now there is the row sum function, but I think it'd probably do everything. Maybe you can use a list function. Anyway, so now we got two tables to work on. Um, Okay. Country total. Country total. Okay. So what do? You got all these diseases here. And unfortunately, what you really want one row, country, this is one of those questions is where do you start now? But you know what? We have to come back over here. Now, so we have a total row right there, okay? But we don't want that. We don't want that in the. Okay. Not equal to. Okay. Now we could also do the reverse, right? We could. Okay. But since we do have a world function, right? Okay. Maybe we could do it with a causes. Filter. Okay, so we got one row. each year. Now we could take this, of course. You know what? Let's do HIV/AIDS, which of course. Okay. Let's come down here. We're going to say equals HIV.AIDS. Okay. Now, what we could do is continuous. Okay. So you can see here, 2015. So worldwide, there's still a lot of people dying of AIDS. Although it spiked back in 2005, interesting enough, with 2 million. Now, let's take a disease I'm personally interested in. Alzheimer's. We could do. Okay. You know what let's do here. Let's do the U.S. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to say that's a total for each country. Okay, okay. What can we do here? We're going to say death totals, causes, and we're going to pull out, let's say, code, S. We're going to pass this on. Okay, maybe it's A. Okay, so here we have it. Here we have the U.S. HIV AIDS deaths by year. Okay, so if this is 2015, 16, which is 2016, we still have about 5,000 people dying from HIV/AIDS in the U.S. a year. So, so let's do the same thing with this. Okay, let's take both of these here, and all we're going to do is so world causes, right? Alzheimer's. Oh, there we go. So we're going to look at worldwide deaths from Alzheimer's. Change this down here. And we're going to look at U.S. deaths, Alzheimer's deaths. Not a particularly encouraging sign, is it? Definitely not a particularly encouraging sign. But what you see here is let's just come back up here. And once again, the point I'll emphasize, I'm using the same code over and over again. Let's run this from the top. HIV AIDS, US HIV deaths, worldwide Alzheimer's deaths climbing dramatically, US, unfortunately. So that's not a good sign. You know what, let's take a look at something else. Let's do the same thing for malaria. Because malaria, you know, is a persistent problem. Like I said, I once heard that for the price of a $5 piece of mosquito netting, we could almost completely let's say we could dramatically for the price of a $5 piece of mosquito netting, we could dramatically cut malaria. Okay, let's come up here. Okay, let's sort by malaria. And for this, let's just do something different. Let's just take a look at malaria. And we're going to say sub-Saharan because I can't imagine there being. Okay. So look at the U.S., which you probably have very little malaria. I can't imagine the U.S. having a lot of malaria deaths. Let's see, but let's come back up here. Sub-Saharan Africa has the largest number of COVID-19. Or, so let's take a look at malaria. Worldwide malaria cases. Oh, this is good news. It has fallen below 500,000 deaths per year. This is malaria deaths in the U.S. This should be sure interesting. No deaths from malaria in the U.S. Huh. Why is there? Oh, that's because I'm using a code and not the name. I'm guessing sub-Saharan Africa is total, is completely Africa. So we want to change this to country. Try it again. Okay. So that's very good news. But still, this is 600,000, 50,000. This is 650,000. So this would be 550,000. So it looks like sub-Saharan Africa's numbers are falling below. Hmm. So this one doesn't. This one doesn't do any good. Okay. Now, what would be kind of interesting to do would be to what we could do is Wish I knew how filter in. Let's try filter. So what I want to do is, okay, let's just take a look here. Country in. Okay, let's try this. Filter in. So we're going to do the top 5. So we're going to look at the top 5 countries for malaria. Okay, so there's a couple things we can do here. We could uh, yes, we can do a single country, of course. We can plot a single country, or we can hopefully use this in function, country in this list here. And there's a couple things we could do at this point. Let's start with something fairly easy. Let's try starting with a, forgot. Well, let's start with a, let's see when we do this. Well, that didn't work so well, did it? What we really want is, uh, that certainly didn't. What happens if we said, maybe we don't need this either. Okay, that's exactly what we're looking for. So we got U.S. We accomplish is not U.S. deaths. I'm going to put, okay. So now we got malaria deaths in a year, and you can see these are the countries with the most malaria deaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this week, sub-Saharan Africa would have the most deaths, spiking. Interesting. Everybody's deaths seem to spike around 2005. So that's one way. How do we do that? Daggone it. How do we put a separate plot? Daggone it. Coordinate flip. Let's come back over here, take a look at something over here then. Unfortunately, I can't remember what it is I was trying to do. Uh, That's not it. Over here. Hmm? Just a second. That's it.
I'm trying to get order again. I'm trying to reset password there. What's what's over there? Uniform. It says over there. Password. It's on that. Okay.
It asks a security question. What is the food you least liked as a child? What was the food you least liked as a child? Yeah, you least liked. You liked the least. You didn't like. Yeah. How do you spell squash? Squash. Okay. So your password is FOBJNJ3265M. Okay. I don't know. Okay, so what we're looking for here, we're looking for a facet graph. Okay. So we're going to come down here like so. And it's going to be country. What this should give us is a separate plot for each country. Okay. So what I need to do here is turn off this. Now we could also adjust this free axis here. So how do I turn off? ggplot2, turn off legend. Remember, Google and YouTube are your two best friends. Oh, I got two there. Why didn't that work? Oh, simple. Well, this should work, but it doesn't. Okay. Wait. I know what the trouble is. Okay, so here we go. Now we have, you know what this do? Dad, what's wrong? Capital B. Wait, what are you doing? You don't need to enter your. No, this. Mhm. Okay. Okay. I said I wanted to do the. We could do six. That would be a nice even number. Okay. So now you can see that we can compare malaria deaths with the countries with the most cases. Okay, the most deaths from malaria deaths. Okay. There's other things you can, of course, do. We can somehow change the color of the. We could put the collar back in if we wanted to. Uh, but anyway, so we got quite a bit done this evening. We looked at uh, HIV/AIDS in the worldwide in U.S. We looked at Alzheimer's worldwide in U.S. And now we looked at the sixth country with the most malaria deaths. Okay, so that just gives you a quick idea of how you can use the same code over and over again, how to go out and look at data, how to maybe do a little data wrangling. So anyway, thanks so much for spending this last hour or so with me. We'll catch you later on a different report.